Um, and welcome to our partner webinar. I'm thrilled to be here today and have the chance to engage with two of our industry experts. We're very fortunate to have Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
And we've got Cameron Gatt as well. Hey, Cameron, thanks for
Hey,
joining.
Gaj, thanks for having me on.
So I'm excited for an open conversation as they share their expertise on maximizing value from an expense management solution and addressing specific client pain points that we'll help solve. We've still got a couple of people joining, so we'll give them some time. But look, I just wanted to give a shout out how great the Olympics have been, and last night was really golden for the Aussies. I think we got 4 gold medals and a couple of bronze and silver. Tracy, what's your favorite sport there at the Olympics? What have you been watching?
I've been watching so much, but the one that we both, my hubby and I, are really excited about and we just loved was the canoe slalom. It's like boxing, but in a canoe, and you flip underwater. It's fantastic, and anything can happen. So that's the one that the Aussie Naomi Fox won. So yeah, that's my favorite at the moment.
Yeah, she's been killing. I think she got 3 gold, did she?
Oh no, Jess got her sister got two, and Naomi her sister
Right.
got one.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, no, the Aussies are doing great. And Cameron, what's your favorite sport there at the Olympics?
Well, I'm a huge basketball fan, so follow the NBA. So pretty disappointed to see the Boomers get knocked
Mm.
out the other night. Disappointing not to hold on to that lead, but it was nice to watch the Opals actually be able to hold on to a big halftime lead last night and actually finish the game strong. So still in think with a chance for a medal, so it's a bit exciting.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm a big basketball fan as well, and stayed out watching it. We had a 24-point lead, and fortunately, we couldn't get the win. But I think it's great signs for Australian basketball happening, with Josh Giddey and Jock Landale. So yeah, good to see what they can bring. So, we've given everyone a couple of minutes. I think we'll get started now. So guys, again, thank you again for joining us. I know we truly do appreciate you guys taking time to join us, especially with the busy period, due dates, end of financial year, and all those deadlines that accountants juggle. So your participation means a lot to us. The response to this webinar has been remarkable, with a phenomenal number of registrations. So we're thrilled again by the level of interest and engagement. And now I think, yeah, it looks like most participants have joined. So let's get started and jump into it. Just before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping rules. Oh, sorry, there we are. Um, yeah, just give me a second, guys. Yeah, so just a couple of housekeeping rules. We just want everyone to snooze all your notifications. This will roughly take around 60 minutes. The session will be recorded for anyone that couldn't join, we will be able to share that recording with you. If you do have any questions, feel free to add them into the Q&A section. As you go, we'll try and answer it as we go, or we'll be answering at the end. So thank you, guys. So here's a quick introduction, just a bit about myself. I'm Gaj, partner manager at Weel. I've started my career in tech and I've been loving dealing to be in the tech space, been here for the last 10 years. Funnily enough, I was actually first introduced to Weel at my last job through a client. And needless to say, I was actually blown away. So when they approached me to join, it was a no-brainer, and I've been here for the last 2.5 years. Again, I'm thrilled to be joined by these two fantastic industry experts. We're going to start off with Tracy Rubens, principal at Appy Books. Tracy, let's get started. Could you please provide us a bit of an overview and a background and tell us more about Appy Books?
Sure. So I have had a long corporate management career, and about 10 years ago, I was made redundant from one of the big miners and decided that I really didn't like being fired. It was the first time in my life that it had happened. So I wanted to take control of the wheel and do something for myself that was purely me, that I could help small businesses, because that's much more fun than trying to help these big miners. So help small businesses. So Appy Books was born, and I started with an ad on Facebook with not an ad, but a post of all of my friends saying, hey, I'm doing this thing. Does anybody need help? And it's grown from that to now being a fully blown bookkeeping practice. And we have about 60 clients that we look after. We're all about the apps. That's in our name, and we're all about the apps. If there's anything that I can see that is taking too long or is too manual, I try and find a solution, and that's for both within my practice and also for my clients as well. So that's part of why we chose Weel and why we use a whole lot of other apps as well. So we have quite an extensive app stack, and it helps us to be efficient and accurate, and to offer something slightly different to maybe what other bookkeepers are offering.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much there, Tracy. And just want to let everyone know, Tracy actually was the winner of Bookkeeper of the Year 2022 from the Trenches, and a finalist at the Accounting Industry Awards for 24. So thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Gad.
Cameron, I'm going to hand it over to you. Could you please give us a quick overview of your role at Sports Accounting?
Yeah, so I've been at Sports Accounting for just over 5 years now. Sports Accounting Australia looks after the accounting functions for sporting organisations, so pretty much end-to-end financial management. I've recently finished my studies in accounting, so yeah, I've been a bookkeeper for quite a while now, moving into the accounting space, and also works on some projects. And yeah, that's probably my favourite thing to do, work on projects, system implementations and process improvements.
Awesome. And just a note for everyone that's joined, Sports Accounting Australia actually implemented Weel for the Australian Paralympics team, who will be going over, I think, in a week or so over to Paris. So it's really exciting to see Weel being used in some of those big sporting teams. So we're going to go to the next slide, guys. And what we have here is we're going to go over a quick agenda here. So on firstly, we'll be going over an overview of Weel's expense management. So we'll discuss how it streamlines expense tracking, reducing your manual data entry, and enhancing your financial accuracy and reporting through our Weel functions. Secondly, we'll be jumping into a live product demo. And during this demo, I'll walk through key features and functionalities that make Weel a clear sense of how user-friendly our interface is as well, and how it's going to help ultimately achieve your goals. Thirdly, we're going to hear from Tracy and Cameron, where they'll share their stories and talk about the challenges they faced before adopting Weel and the benefits they've had since implementation. And lastly, we'll be going through some Q&A. Awesome. So let's jump into it, guys. Now, we'll be going with an overview of Weel. We do have a number of partners on this webinar that are Weel experts, and we that also use Weel internally and have clients who use Weel. But we also have those that are quite new to Weel. So let's just have a quick refresher. Now, Weel, we are the full end-to-end spend management platform that helps control business spending. This is done by providing tools for the different ways that businesses spend money. We also are a software system that sits behind those tools to help track and manage and control that spending. Now, starting on the left-hand side, the payments and spending side, we do have the ability to issue virtual cards and as well as physical cards. So just to talk about this, you can quickly issue cards or cancel existing ones and allocate funds where they're most needed. Now, for example, if a team member needs a card for a business trip, it can be issued immediately. Conversely, if someone leaves a company, the card can be revoked on the spot, ensuring security and control. And above all that, you are also able to give different limits for different card holders as well. Now, Cameron, I understand that in the past you faced challenges of staff using ex-members' cards. How has Weel addressed and resolved these issues for you?
Yeah, it's just, as he said, like the ability to instantly give someone a card as well as take a card off them. It just really solves that problem of the troubles of actually doing those activities with a bank. So, as we know, people like to move around jobs quite frequently these days. So, people leave with a card, leave the card behind, the card gets used by the new person, the card gets used by many people. So, yeah, just the ability to take that away instantly and issue the new person with their own card. Just, yeah, it's just a great solution.
It makes things much easier now. And Tracy, how have you felt about the ability to issue those virtual cards for your clients as well, and the ease of use of doing that?
Yeah, the place that I've found it the most helpful was for hospitality clients. One particular I'm thinking about, they have a kitchen, they've got a chef, they've got sous chefs and kitchen hands and stuff, and often they go, oh, we are missing such and such. And so they were taking money out of the till, or the employee was paying for whatever they were buying from Woolies themselves, and then had to be reimbursed, or we had to track the cash in the till. So with Weel, we've made it really easy. So now that if they need a card, we just allocate a card to the employee. They can zip across the road to get, I don't know, whatever it is that they've forgotten in the kitchen, and then it's not a hassle. There's not extra things that we're chasing. They are chased for the receipts, which is really helpful because in the kitchen they're notoriously bad at that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the way it's really helped for those clients.
Awesome. Awesome. And thanks for sharing that. Now we're going to move on to the next side. Sorry, just one below, where we're going to be looking at reimbursements. So with Weel's reimbursements, here, employees are actually able to get paid back within minutes of their claim being approved. Now, the great part of this is, as an employee, you don't have to wait for payment cycles, and you don't have to manually add them to pay run. So we pay staff automatically for you. I mean, a great example of this is you're not waiting for a pay run or a pay cycle, which is really big. Cameron, I know sports accounting, you guys use reimbursements. Could you please share how this has helped your staff as well?
Yeah, it's just a really powerful tool, and just makes the reimbursement a lot quicker. Not everyone is able to have a card and use company money at their own discretion, which is understandable. So the ability to submit reimbursements, the user interface is really friendly, and the fact that someone can approve that on their phone, and then the staff member gets the funds. Sometimes within minutes. I've had a situation where I submitted a reimbursement, and within 10 minutes, the money's already back in my account. So it's almost like having my own card. It's just really handy.
Yeah, and that's such a great power. I mean, getting paid back instantly is great because you're never putting your staff in any financial distress as well.
Yeah.
We've got bill payments. Now with Weel, we are the complete spend management solution, and we do help with bills. So we are able to complete paying bills to your creditors and your suppliers. You can upload bills and pay suppliers and creditors within a timely manner. And the great part here is you're not waiting or required to do it, download an ABA file. It's much more secure without logging into a client's bank account. I mean, Tracy, I know that you've used this a bit, but do you mind sharing a bit about our bills tool as well?
Yeah, sure. It's really simple to use. So you can either, just like you can with, things like Dext and HubDoc, you can email, there's a special email address, you can email it into Weel, so it becomes an invoice within there that is to be paid. You can import it from Xero, you can drag and drop it. So any of those bills that you need to pay that you don't have access to the client's account, or you don't want access to the client's account, you don't have to worry about ABAs, as Gaj said. You just bring it into Weel, say, break up how it's going to be posted, and then organize the payment. It's very simple, very easy.
Yeah, and the main thing is we're trying to streamline it and make everything compliant, which is really useful. And lastly, on the left-hand side, we've got our subscription management. I think this is one of our coolest tools. It's quite unique. I mean, for each supplier, and this is at no additional cost, we are able to create a unique card for each supplier that you have. And these cards run independently. So if you do have any fraud concerns, you can also close that card without affecting any of the other subscriptions, so they're not being interrupted. And I know, Tracy, this is one that you've used as well for yourself and for your clients. So you can share a bit more about how that subscription feature has been able to support your clients.
Sure. Well, looking at it from the other way. So before that, I have a client who is a wonderful client, but they have subscriptions to like so many things. They and lots of overseas subscriptions, and trying to get the receipts out is really difficult. So we changed them over to Weel for the subscription management. And as you say, it's just simple. So there's a separate card for each subscription. All the information is gathered, rather than me having to chase for it, and it just streamlines the process. So yeah, it's working great for them, and I've even got it in my practice as well for a couple of my subscriptions. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, it's always good where you get those direct debits and you're saying, hey, I didn't agree to this, and you've got the ability to just quickly go and pause or cancel them, which is the power of Weel.
Yeah.
Cam, I'm just gonna ask you, mate, what feature have you found the most powerful? Which one do you enjoy the most when you use Weel?
Oh, it's a great question because there's so many to choose from. I guess I don't want to jump ahead, but my favorite feature is probably the card blocking. But of the stuff that we've already talked about, I think just how Weel acts as, almost a bank account. There's its own bank statements. Everything happens in Weel, and we just then go straight back to zero instead of having to go across multiple different systems, compiling information together across so many different sources. It's just such a handy one-stop shop tool, which just makes, I think, everyone's lives easier. So there's a few bits and pieces in that, but yeah, just the integration with Xero probably is the highlight.
And we'll be jumping into that as well. Thanks, Cam. So now we're going to jump onto the right-hand side, and we're looking at the tracking and management side of this all. So yeah, budget controls. Now you are able to set and manage these budgets for different departments or projects. One, maintaining financial discipline, and you're preventing overspending. Now, this is done through the ability to set unique limits and budgets. And when I say budgets, we're talking about cards, and we'll jump into that. You can set them daily, limits, monthly, and you can also build in automated pre and post spend approval matrices based on the action being taken by the end user. Cam, coming back to you, mate. Just want to share, if you could share with us how this tool has benefited your clients by putting in those budget controls and those workflows.
Yeah, well, it just helps the client, to make sure that their money is not being spent irresponsibly. Got certain sporting organisation run their own events. They've got to use volunteers to go out to these events. We've got team managers for state teams, for example. Instead of just transferring them a whole bunch of money, you've got these budget controls. You can give them access to this budget with their own card, and then they're limited to what they can actually spend and use the money on. So it just a lot more oversight and ability to monitor what's going on.
That's so good to hear. We're going to talk about real-time transactions feed. So with Weel, I mean, the greatest power here is generally when you, with a bank or using any other card provider, you get your statements right at the end. And as accountants and bookkeepers, that's really frustrating because you want to make sure that you're staying compliant and completing your tasks on the go. So I reckon the best thing with Weel and the real-time transactions, you get immediate access to your financial data, which is reducing the need for manual data entry. It also ensures accurate and up-to-date records, which simplify reconciliation, enables timely financial reporting, and improves overall efficiency by automating these tasks. So this real-time visibility aids in better financial management and decision-making. Now, customizable workflows as well in Weel. We do allow users to tailor our software to fit their specific business needs and practices. Now, this feature helps by streamlining operations, reducing manual intervention, and ensuring compliance with policies. For example, I know companies have set up automated workflows where if there's an expense over $1,000, it requires managerial approval, and you're making sure that you're ensuring adherence and financial policies. Cam, back to you, mate. How have you used this within, I know Bowls, New South Wales, or a couple of your other clients? How have you taken hand of these customizable workflows?
Yeah, it's again, like well, the sports have different departments. So high performance events, for example. So each department has their own manager. So with the ability to use the custom workflows to be able to workflow things depending on the staff member that is within that organization or Might use that second layer of tracking to say, oh, I've spent money at this event, and then it becomes the responsibility of that event manager. So it just allows us to take that step back, and we'll basically flows all that information to the relevant managers and who's ultimately responsible for that department.
Awesome. And the great thing with this also is all this data flows through automatically, syncing to your accounting software at real time. Hence reducing manual data entry, minimizes errors, and simplifies reconciliation. So just to summarize, our tools here helps automating and streamlining expense tracking and approval processes, reducing manual work and enhancing financial controls, and providing real-time insights. Awesome. Now we're going to take a look closer at budgets. And at Weel, our goal is to have every expense report completed within 24 hours of spend so that you can reconcile efficiently. And how do we do this? So like step one, when you're using your Weel card, we send immediate notifications to an employee's phone to update them to say, hey, you've got an incomplete expense or you've done an expense, please complete it. And step two is weekly reminder emails sent via multiple channels. So it's done by email, in-app notifications. Step three, we've got card blocking. Now, this allows you to set a grace period, and this is what Cameron spoke about earlier, for your staff. So if they don't complete an expense report within the grace period, they are unable to spend any further company funds until that complete the expense report. So until they complete that violating expense report, they won't be able to use a card. Now, this expense report will be sent to the appropriate manager to review the coding, tax invoice, and the legitimacy of the spend. And this is all logged in an audit trail, hence empowering the staff as well as the business owner and the accountants and bookkeepers, allowing them to stay compliant. Tracy, I'm going to throw it to you. What is the best thing about Weel, and what is the best thing for bookkeepers?
The best thing is not having to chase for receipts. So all those other things are really great, but the fact that Weel does the chasing rather than me doing the chasing is like it frees up time. And I love the card blocking. I love that. I think it's fantastic that you set a grace period, and if they haven't provided it, because that gives them a little bit of a hurry up as well to make sure that they do what they are supposed to do. And as bookkeepers, weekly, I'm chasing people
Yeah.
for source documents. So to try and, make sure we have accurate information and claim as much GST back as we can, which helps for their cash flow. And it doesn't matter how many times you explain the reasons why you're doing this. Sometimes some clients just don't get it. So having an app being the bad guy and chasing for receipts rather than me doing it all the time frees up time for me to do other things that are more important. But I love also that it's so seamless and so fast, because as you say, like we live and die on our ability to provide accurate, up-to-date information. I mean, that's why we use cloud accounting. So the fact that we get the information out of Weel faster, rather than waiting for bank statements or whatever, is a big plus as well.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And talking about receipts, Cameron, how much time on average do your clients save without chasing receipts?
Well, it's hard to say because we've got so many different types of clients at different sizes, but I could comfortably say, hour a week, and even when we're getting into the month end stuff, it could be multiple hours a week. And exactly what Tracy was saying, we don't have to chase up because the app's sending them reminders, and then the responsibility becomes on them to upload the receipts if they want to continue spending money. It's not on us to spend all our time chasing up. So yeah.
Awesome. Great to hear. Great to hear. And last, I was going to ask Cameron, what is the best thing about Weel that you love as an accountant? Like, what's a key area?
Well, it's the same thing with the auto card blocking and just the features that allow for the expenses to be submitted earlier. It just makes that month end process that much easier, and that much more efficient. Instead of spending, the first week of the month chasing up, finding out, whose receipt is this? Who does this receipt belong to? Because so many people are using the same card, chasing go back and forth. It's just all the responsibilities on the card user, and it really does, make that reconciliation process that much faster, and just allows us to, do our job at a better standard and more quickly and more efficiently.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, those features are definitely go a long way in supporting the accountants and bookkeepers. Awesome. We're going to jump into the next slide. And I will be diving into the live product demo. So I'll just bring that up for you guys. So for those that don't know Weel, this is Weel, and I'm going to be showing you my demo account right now. So just to bring to your attention, when you get set up on Weel, we'll create a unique BSB and account number. So we are a debit facility, so we'll create that unique BSB and account number, and you'll be able to initiate a one-off transfer. You will be able then to do a direct debit as well. So you can set up a direct debit saying, hey, if I come to a certain amount, if it drops down, can you please top me up? And you can set that up. So you can make sure that you have sufficient funds in your Weel account. Moving on, first thing I also want to show you is setting up your accounting software and how this is all done. So we'll jump in onto the right-hand side where you see the little gear icon. We're going to hit settings and we're going to go down to integrations. Now, to connect to your accounting file, very quick and simple. We'll hit connect. You choose that client file, and then you'll be able to connect. And that'll take a minute or two. After that, we'll straight to the chart of accounts. Once you're connected, there will be a button say syncing to Xero, syncing to MyOb. It will then pull through all the chart of accounts. So we are going to make this very automated. It'll pull through the chart of accounts and it will match it up against all your accounts here. You also do have the ability to have custom categories as well. Lastly, we've got expense management. This is what we were talking about, and I know Cam and Tracy really do love this feature, and I know most of our accountants and bookkeepers love it, is our card blocking feature. So under expense management, you have the ability to do card blocking, and what the card blocking does is you're making sure that the expenses are completed on time and you're putting onus on the employee. So right now, I've set it up at 3 days. And what will happen is as the employee does that transaction, if they don't upload a receipt, they will be getting notifications to firstly upload a receipt, and then they will be getting notified to say, hey, if you don't upload a receipt within the allocated period of time, your card will be blocked, and we'll start chasing up the employee with that as well. Now, we have had a lot of feedback about tax invoices, and we do have the ability to make your tax invoices mandatory or optional. So the great thing here is now you have that toggle where we can turn on and make sure that all tax invoices are mandatory when an employee completes a transaction. And the last part that I want to show you in our settings is custom fields, which when we're talking about custom fields, we're talking about those unique business codes like project codes, job codes, and we can make sure that those tracking categories are allocated. So you can create those tracking categories here and then make sure that you assign it to a correct card or budget. So just a quick recap, I've just showed you how we've added funds once you set up the account and then setting up the settings. Now we're going to jump into how we go and invite staff. Really simple, really quick and easy. You'll be hitting that invite people section here, and you have the ability to add your staff. Now to invite an individual, you can do a bulk CSV invite, or we can do a quick invite. Simply hit quick invite, select their role. We have a couple of roles here. Team member, they've got the least access, so they can only see whatever they spend. Administrator, they've got full access, so they can see the account balance and what everyone's doing within the account. Accountant has similar access. However, it is basically where they can't add or delete people. But you can always turn these permissions on and off and create roles as you like via the roles functionality here. So once we've added an individual, we do have the ability to choose their payment types, whether it's bills, cards, and reimbursements. You can choose either or give them either one, where it could be just reimbursements. So we've got our clients, we've got our staff here, and we can see the different payment types. Now let's go jump and create a budget. I'm going to throw this to you, Cameron. When on a weekly basis, how often do you think you're coming here into Weel, and once you set up those budgets, how often do you change your budgets for your clients?
Well, that's I guess from might be unique to our business, but that's the good thing that I don't ever go and look in here because I don't have to. I don't have to worry about topping up a credit card account. I don't have to worry about if the funds running low because, we've got the direct debit set up to be triggered at certain levels. And, the people who actually work in the business, they're responsible for the budget. So, yeah, it's just, allowed us to push that control back onto the client who's ultimately running the business and running the departments and responsible for all the activity that goes on. So I'm not sure if that's the answer you were hoping for, but for me, it's great that I don't have to go in here and make changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's great. And Tracy, how do you find the layout here within Weel and how easy it is
Yeah.
that it gets set up?
Same as Cameron. So what you think about, if you work with a client to think about what you're trying to achieve when you first start, then there isn't really a need to come in and set up, change the budgets very often. Yes, you'll set up new cards for new employees or different employees or whatever, but once the budgets are set, unless things change dramatically, someone changes jobs or whatever, changes role within the business, it all just happens. So you set it up. You don't have to be going and paying the credit card once a week or checking the level of the amount of debt that you have. Once you've set it up, that's it. It just happens. And that's a great part of it as well. That's what we want. We want an app that helps us, that takes work away from us, that not is, things that we normally have to do every week, every month, whatever. So yeah, I'm exactly the same with Cameron. That's one of the things I like about it, is I don't have to come in here and change it very often.
Yeah, so once it's pretty much set up, you can get going. So let's go create a budget, and I'll show you how to do that for those that are online. So to create a budget, and what we call a budget is basically a card. We can create it for an individual, team, campaign, project. So if I wanted to create it for an individual, let's say I was going to create one for Peter today. He's one of my staff. Peter, he's on the road. We'll give him a monthly budget. Let's just say we can set it up at $1,000. I would then go and choose Peter, who I'm allocating the card to. We've given it the name of the card. And now we choose an approver. Now, this approver is not approving every transaction line by line, but they're approving any top-up requests or approvals. So I, as Peter's manager, would now be the approver. And right down the bottom here, you can actually allocate the correct categories or the correct chart of accounts that he could choose from. So if he was on the road, I could choose accommodation, car rental. But let's just say, for example, we're going to choose all here and assign all categories and hit create. As I hit that create button, that budget is pretty much created instantly. Peter will get a notification. He'll see that in his app, and then he'll be able to add that to his either Apple or Android phone and start tapping and paying. Now, talking about this as well, it's a virtual card. We do have the ability to see these cards as well. So just under payments, under cards, as an administrator, I will now be able to see all the cards for all my different employees. So let's have a look at the top here. We've got Annabelle. She's got 3 cards. I can see the 3 different budgets. We do have the ability to see the cards in the last 4 digits. And let's just say if Annabelle was to leave, I could come through, freeze a card. We do have the ability to have physical cards, and you'll see that functionality coming very soon. So you can even issue physical cards for certain staff members, and that will be done via this action here. That being said, we can see that Peter's got his card. If we wanted to, and say if Peter was to leave the business altogether, I could hit delete, cancel this card. But the great thing is none of those transactions that he's done in the past are deleted. They're always saved in our transaction screen as well. So let's just show you the demo, the phone app, guys. I'm going to demo that as well for you guys. So I'm going to jump in here. Can you guys see that screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So this is the Weel app. I've got an iPhone, and this is the layout, very similar with Android. As you can see here, I've got my card, my marketing budget. I can initiate and activate that in my wallet, tap and pay in store, pay online, or pay over the phone, whatever you'd like, and get your payments done. So I've done a payment here. I've kept one actually incomplete. So as you can see here, you get those reminders, and this is what Tracy and Cameron were saying, what they really love about. It says, avoid your card blocking. I've got up to 7 days now to complete these expenses before my card gets blocked. So you get these automated reminders via email and in-app. So let's have a look here. I've actually gone probably and purchased a coffee. Yes, you can see that attached. All I've got to do now is choose a category. And then after that, we'll enter the description. And then once that's done, it will then move over to the complete section. And then you'll see all those completed transactions, as you can see. So it's really, really good. This app makes it much more easier and simplified for users. You'll be able to see those notifications. You're getting updated as you go to say, hey, you've got an incomplete expense. I mean, a really good example, I think yesterday was I actually went and purchased a coffee, and I got a reminder to say, hey, you didn't add your receipt, quickly went back, took a photo of the receipt, and I was on the go. So yeah, really, really easy. Just to show you another one, I'm going to switch between my demo accounts. So as an approver, you also do have the ability to see any approvals that are pending. So down the bottom here on the approval section, I've got one here where we've had Annabelle. She's gone and spent a whopping 73 cents. I think she's gone and purchased a banana, but this is just for an example. For example's sake, I'm able to see that receipt. Yeah, she's gone to Woolies. She's purchased a banana. I'm able.
Got GST on it. There's no GST on bananas.
Yeah, well, we can take that off. But she's already submitted it, and I'll show you how we can do that. But if I wanted to decline, I could decline it and then go and fix it up within Weel. So that's the power of Weel. You can approve and, as a manager, approve things on the go. We also do have some other approvals. So if there's a pending approval that I've sent, it's actually gone through to the manager. I've asked for flights up for $2,000, and now that's pending approval from them. So I can see also something that I've sent to my seniority as well. So you've got that great visibility there and ease of use. So again, you'll be able to see your cards. You'll be able to tap and pay and see those completed transactions. Just quickly switch through. And then the approvals. And you can do reimbursements as well. So there is the odd occasion where you might not have a card and you need to do a reimbursement. You've spent your own funds. You can always come through, add your receipt, and then complete it through Weel. And this will then ping your manager, and you'll get those funds then automated back into your own personal account. So that's a Weel app, guys. Really quick, easy, and simple to use. We've got the cards. We've got the expenses. You get these amazing notifications that ping those employees to say, hey, add a receipt. Make sure that you complete your expense report. And this is taking time away from yourselves as accountants and bookkeepers from doing those mundane tasks, and it's getting all automated, which is really powerful. So that is a mobile app. Anything that you want to add in there, Tracy, about the app that you like? Or if I pretty much
I like it tells them good work at the end, because it's good to be positive.
It is. So that's just the mobile app, and I'm going to jump now back into the demo, guys. So can you see that page there, guys? Just double checking. Awesome. Yeah. So we're back into Weel, and now as those transactions happen, you can see them at real time, which is really, really important. So these transactions happen at real time. We're going to have the visibility to see the date, the status, whether they're pending, complete, whether they've been updated in Xero, the merchant, the type of payment, the category. You'll be able to come then through and update a category if it's incorrect. You're going to see the amount, GST, tax invoice really clear through. Now, if there was a receipt that had a split expense, you do have the ability to click through and split that expense and make sure you add the right chart of accounts. You can see the budget, the team member that spent it. And then I'm just going to dive down here. I did talk about project codes and job codes. So if there is specific job codes or project codes, the employee would be able to see that on the app as well, and they would be able to click down and choose that from a selected field. If they haven't done it, you do have the ability to come through and choose it for them. So these orange areas suggest that there's missing fields and they need to be filled out. So again, this report, really powerful. You can filter this report for an amount, particularly individual, for a tax invoice. So if we can look for tax invoice that is not uploaded, I could then go and have a talk with Jake and Peter and be like, hey guys, pull your act together, make sure you add your receipt. So there's a lot that you can do with this report as well. So just to come back to it, we were talking about custom workflows, and I know Cameron and Tracy really enjoyed using this tool. With our custom workflows, we're talking about creating a unique set of rules for your business. So one of them, which is really important that we've set is before anything pushes into zero, you want to make sure that you look over the transactions to make sure everything's correct. So to create one of them, we've said before anything pushes into zero, I've said if my expense report is Annabelle, make sure that it comes through to me. So I've created something unique. So whenever Annabelle does any transactions, they will come through to me for approval. So I'll come through into approvals here, and you can see that she's done a card payment. She's bought a coffee. Is that within policy? Yeah, I'm happy. The category is correct. The description's right. And yes, there's no project. I would hit approve. And now this will then push in to the transaction screen. You can see that it's complete now. And then it will then flow into Xero. So that's a custom workflows in the cards. We're going to jump into subscriptions. Tracy, I know that you love this tool, so I'm going to allow you to jump in here and have a say a bit about the subscription tool.
Yeah. So as I said, my client, I've used it for myself as well for my monthly payments to different people that I subscribe to. But yeah, my client is a business that does a lot of development. They're actually trying to save the planet, if you can believe. They're creating a logarithm to find a planet price for every product that there is in the world. So when you buy something, you'll be able to work out exactly how much it costs to the environment and to the planet. So they use a lot of IT subscriptions. They use a lot of like even advertising like Facebook and LinkedIn and that kind of stuff as well. So it was constantly a battle trying to get the information out of them as to what they were doing. There was some that were that were just falling in a hole. So we set them up with all of these cards, and now it's just smooth. So it just happens. We've got a card for each of the individual subscriptions. We can see how it's coming out. If they decide to cancel it, we can cancel the card. So yeah, it just works great for them.
Awesome. Yeah, and this tool is great. I mean, I think this is a very underrated tool that businesses love using. So you can make sure that you have all your right subscriptions. You're not all putting them on one card. And you can exactly see, I mean, this is a demo account, but you'll be able to see how much you're spending per month.
I'll jump in here as well. I'd love to add to this. The other thing, I touched on it before, when someone leaves the organization, especially if they're a manager and executive, generally they have all the subscriptions on their card. And then part of offboarding them is moving 10, 15 different subscriptions to a new card. And then who's to say, a year later that person doesn't leave. So this is just a great tool to have all the subscriptions centralized, and you're not needing to basically move all these subscription payment methods when someone leaves the organization.
Yeah, saving time again, Cameron. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too
Awesome.
much time. I don't know what to do with it.
Thanks for that. We're going to jump into bills. I'm going to show this account here. So I've got a couple of bills that we've got through. Now, our bills tool is great. Now, the reason for this is you have the ability to add a bill by dragging and dropping. You also will have the ability to import bills directly from Xero. Now, if I was connected to a Xero account, this is a demo account, but if I was connected, it would say import from Xero. And so those are the bills that are awaiting payment in Xero. So you're pushing it into Xero, pushing it into Weel, so you can now pay those bills. We've got a couple of bills here, and it will tell you the source. So if it was from Xero, it'd say Xero. Clearly, we've come and uploaded this bill via Weel. You have two ways. You'll be able to email it in to your unique email address or drag and drop it. So to show you here, guys, we've got a bill. It's got the invoice number. You get also automated remittance advice. You can set it up and send that remittance advice to the person that you'd like. You've got payment details here. And the great part here with the bills is you can definitely have separate line items as well. And once you do that, you do have the ability to have supply management. And once you've uploaded a couple of bills, it will save in our supply management area as well. That's it with bills. And I'll just wrap it up because we're getting close to time as well. We've got reimbursements. As I said, you can do your reimbursements over the mobile phone, or you can jump in and upload a reimbursement just like this. So you can see basically pull out that information. It will then go to the right approver. and they will then be able to initiate their payment to get paid back into that account.
Gage, the advantage of the reimbursements using them like this for employees rather than putting them through like Xero payroll is that you get to select which account it goes to. That's one of my bugbears about the Xero reimbursements, is that if you just put it in payroll, then you don't get to say it just goes to one general account. So here you can split them up. It makes it easier.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, you can choose the exact budget where you would like that to be pulled out from, which is really good. And really simply hit approve. And what that does is then it'll initiate the reimbursement and it'll go back into the employee's bank account. And here it will go into Annabelle. So if I hit approve, bang, it'll get done just like that. So just a click of a button. So that's the deep dive, everyone. So we're going to jump into the next slide, and we're going to hear a bit more from Tracy and Cameron, and them just sharing their success stories with us. Tracy, I'm going to start with you. What type of clients do you work with day to day?
We don't have a vertical market. My rule is that we just work with nice people, and mostly that works really well. The people that I have actually suggested Weel to, the ones that I reckon are the most successful for us are the hospitality businesses and creatives. Both of them are really amazing at doing what they do, but they're not so great at paperwork. So the hospos, as I was saying before, the example of having a kitchen and sending someone out to buy things, so you don't have to worry about people taking money out of the till, you don't have to worry about reimbursement, you don't have to worry about someone sharing a card. So that's really great. But then I've got a photographer that is using it, and whenever he goes out on shoots, he has assistants that do like go and do the catering, like go and get the catering or go and buy pieces of equipment or whatever. And he's busy organizing, I don't know, whoever he is, organizing the models or whatever he's doing. So he's got someone who they've got a Weel card that they can just go and do the bits and pieces that he needs them to do. So the types of people that we would use it for are those kind of ones. But as I said, I also mentioned one that has lots of subscriptions, and it was great for that as well. But really, any client that you have that you're struggling or they are struggling with how they're going to do these kind of transactions, or you're struggling chasing them up for receipts and paperwork, is probably a good fit.
Awesome. And do you have, I mean, what were the main challenges you would say that your clients have faced, and how has Weel kind of addressed that? I know you've been talking about kind of the cut, like having the virtual cards and being able those automated receipts. Like, what is the main area there, and what were the challenges that you faced?
Well, definitely the challenges with the cafe is that they'll just go and spend money, and you've got either items on the credit card or items that have come out of the bank or cash that you can't balance because you're missing that piece of information. And we do reconciliations for most of our clients every couple of days. So you're always constantly on them, because if you leave it, like I know people leave and only work for clients like once a month, well, you know, stuff's missing by then. There's no way you can go back and find that stuff. Whereas because we're on top of it chasing them, we had a better opportunity of collecting them. But even so, if it's a waste of your time that you're constantly chasing the same people for the same information. So if you have, that's the big chat that solved the problem for us. But for the client, perhaps it was maybe they got sick of listening to me chasing them. But the other part of it is that they are in control then of their staff saying, hey, this is important. We really need to do this. And it's making them financially responsible for the bits and pieces that they're spending and more in tune with their business.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And lastly, how do you provision Weel's solution to your clients to highlight the benefits?
I think the way that I went about it, when I first saw Weel, I thought, wow, this is really cool. I sat back and I thought about all of the clients that we had. And as I said, we're very app focused anyway, but I thought about all the clients that we have who has a problem that needs solving, where they are either naughty and don't give us what we need, or they're naughty in another way by just handing a credit card and everybody's using the same card because there's no financial control, or, so look at those situations that Weel can solve and say, hey, this is a great option. And I think as accountants and bookkeepers, part of our job, or the biggest part of our job, is the communication part, because it's great that we do compliance or we do advisory or we do whatever. But if we don't have that relationship, that communication with our clients to explain to them, okay, this is going to be good for you. This is not just me saying you have to do this. This is actually going to benefit you as well. It's going to make your business better. I think that is how you couch any kind of app that you're trying to suggest to your client. Understand their issues and then find the solution to solve them. And to me, if you're solving people's problems, they're going to become really sticky to you as well. And you're going to hang on to that client.
100%. I mean, if there's a problem there and there's an app to solve it, it's a no-brainer. Thanks so much, Tracy. Cameron, again, mate, I mean, if you could tell everyone, what type of clients do you work with a day-to-day for?
Yeah, well, majority of our clients are in the sporting industry. So anything from sporting clubs to sporting leagues to associations to state sporting organisations to national sporting organisations. We've even got one international client who deals with not only Australia but a few of the Oceania table tennis space. So yeah, pretty much all sport, but from anything as small as a club to a national sporting organisation.
Awesome. And do you mind sharing a specific example of how Weel has improved financial controls for your clients?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I touched on before, it just gives them that ability to put in place those controls about, who can actually spend money on a card, who can submit reimbursements, how much have they got access at over a period of time, whether that be a week or a month, how much can they spend in relation to a specific event, if you're using those different budgets for events. So it just puts a lot of the onus back on them to set those controls. And as you showed, it's very customizable. So it's up to the client how many budgets they want to put, how many custom workflows. It's really up to them.
Awesome. And what were the main challenges you would say the client faced before using Weel, and how did Weel address those challenges?
Well, it's probably a challenge for both our client and us, is the whole getting that credit card receipt to be able to reconcile it correctly and compliantly. Just basically, yeah, having to find out who the receipt belongs to, who's used the card. Oh, this card belongs to person A, but they've given it to person B, C, E, F. Who's got the receipt? So just putting all the onus back on the employer who actually spends the money with their card. And yeah, just all the source of information is just in Weel. We're not going across multiple different softwares, banking platforms now, trying to chase everything up. It's just all in that one central location.
That's great to hear. And lastly, I mean, how do you position Weels and to your clients, and how do you highlight those benefits? I know that we've got people on here that love Weel and they're not sure how to kind of position that. How do you best position that with your clients?
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I think ultimately you've got to be able to communicate and show them how it will benefit them as well. I mean, I feel like some clients struggle to go, well, it's helping you guys chase up receipts. What's that really doing for us? But I think if they look at it more deeply, the user experience and the user interface of Weel is a lot more powerful and advanced than anything else that at least I've come across. Like what you're showing in the web app, someone can submit a reimbursement from their phone and then someone can approve it from their phone. It's just a very powerful tool. So yeah, you just got to really highlight to them what benefits that it can do with the financial controls and, keeping employees happy with access to cards and being able to get reimbursements quicker than having to wait for a fortnightly payment cycle, for example.
100%. I mean, and that's the power of Weel. We're making things much more streamlined and compliant, and making it easier for clients alike and the accountants and bookkeepers. So appreciate you both sharing your stories with me today. We're going to just quickly look at benefits overview. Again, look, we have the ability to instantly issue cards, so you can quickly issue cards, allocate funds, and where they're needed most. So this is really helpful for your clients. Reducing expenditure with greater transparency, so you get enhanced visibility into spending, which is helping you control and reduce expenditure. we've got the ability to set budget controls and approval. So again, tailoring budget controls and approval workflows to fit those specific needs, eliminating the need for multiple tools. So again, as I said, our solution integrates with all aspects of the spend management into one platform. And now this means no more juggling between different tools for expense tracking, approval, reporting, and simplifying that financial process. And you're gaining better insight into spending. So we can track across departmental spending patterns and understand how resources are allocated across projects to make better and informed financial decisions. And for the accountants and bookkeepers, I mean, yeah, it's a solution that offers several benefits. I mean, you can scale efficiently. You can manage multiple clients using a single streamlined tool. You can, via our platform, you can toggle between your clients. And so you can have diverse client portfolios from one system. Again, I think the streamlining of approval workflows as well, approval workflows to simplify your accounting process. I mean, for example, you can automate those expense approvals, as Cam and Tracy were saying, and their ability to be reviewed and approved by the relevant managers is quite important. So there is quite a lot of benefits there, and I can share this with all of you online as well. Now we're going to quickly jump into some Q&A. We do have a couple of minutes left, so if you could jump into the Q&A section and ask those questions that you might have. So happy for everyone to jump in and ask those questions. Don't be shy. I mean, this is here to help us as much as you guys as well. So jump in there and ask those questions. We got a bit shy. We don't have many questions coming through.
That's because we've covered everything that they ever needed to know about Weel.
I hope we have. Well, if there isn't that many questions, I mean, look, oh, here we go. What are the types of businesses that you would say are a good fit for Weel and the industries? I mean, personally, we support a wide variety of industries. We have so many NDIS and NFPs. They find it difficult to go and get cards from banks, and obviously having those workflows put in place is really important. I mean, we do have quite a few hospitality. Construction's another big one. I mean, construction is massive because tradies are going on a daily basis where they're going and purchasing items, and they usually what they do is they just keep their receipts and give it to the bookkeeper right at the end. Isn't that right, Tracy? So
Yeah.
having the ability to have an app where you can take a photo of those receipts, have them reconciled within seconds or minutes is a no-brainer as well. I mean, again, the sporting side, Cameron, I'm going to let you talk about that. We do have so many big sporting associations with us as well, but I'll let you hone in on that, Cameron.
Yeah, well, obviously we would like to get Weel on more sporting clients, but I think Weel is a solution for everyone. I mean, unless you're actually directly reconciling transactions, I don't think you would necessarily understand the frustrations of people not uploading receipts or giving you the information that you need to be able to reconcile and code it. So any business that has a team with people needing to spend money, I can't see how it doesn't assist a lot of the problems that come with credit cards and spending money.
Awesome.
I think that's a good point, Cameron. Any business that has a team would have an advantage by using Weel.
Yeah.
100%.
It's for anyone and everyone, and we do help pretty much every industry. So where you do face those problems, Weel is there to kind of help you grow and support your business. I mean, we don't have many questions coming through, so I'm going to jump through, and we only have 2 minutes left. So, guys, look, I'm excited to share like what we have available for accountants and bookkeepers, and this is already what we do have. So if you do join with Weel, we have our partner tiers. So as a bronze partner, you do have the ability to give 10% discount to your first 5 clients. You'll then move over to being a silver partner, which is a 15% discount, and then gold partner, which is 20 plus clients and a 20% discount. And on top of that, we're doing something special for everyone that's joined or also see this recording. We're offering 50% off for 3 months to your clients as well. So yeah, really, really great ability there to bring on some customers with an incentive as well. I know we have 1 minute, but we're going to quickly do a poll. So I hope everyone's found this session valuable, and like we're keen for you guys to learn more. So before we run our next session, if you want to hear a bit more from me, please let me know. And yeah, let us know. Give you 15, 20 seconds. I know we're coming very close to time, so appreciate that, guys. And just with our next question, so the last one is, if you're really enjoying these webinars and want to ensure that we stay relevant and valuable for all partners, yeah, let us know what you kind of want to hear next as well from us. Anything got to do with product features, we can do more of a deep dive. Any tips and tricks in sales training where we can have either talking about how we talk to sports accounts or the sporting companies or construction or whatever it is. Yeah, so industry specific session. So let us know. Guys, we are coming to time. A big thank you for everyone that's joined. An even bigger thank you to Tracy and Cameron for taking your time out today. It's been a pleasure having you guys online today and talking everything Weel and sharing your success story. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome, guys. That's time. Thank you, and see you guys later.